Hello, can you hear me okay? Could I get a sound check? Run it, Rid. Hey, back
Hey
on
Seth,
back.
how are you?
You? Yeah, good, thanks. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Um, Rod, are you okay to record? Back and Ben, can we get a recording as well?
Sounds good.
Yeah, sweet. Um, Back and Ben, I hope you're in the background. Hey, it's nice to see you. Thanks for um, being our support, our Sherpa on Discord overnight. Super grateful. Nice to see people's avatars popping in. Oh, someone's changed their name. Second Serve Sean. Love it. Love a bit of alliteration. Um, um, Rid, how are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. It's early. I'm not much of a morning person.
Oh, don't worry. Adam and I can take the lead for the energy, for the vibe, first thing.
Yeah, good work. No, it's I'm good. It's what is it? Thursday morning. We've got 3 days till Christmas, and we should wait for running self to give a weather update. But it's raining again here in Melbourne, so
Oh
it's a little
no.
bit miserable. But I think it's meant to get better over the next few days. I heard that Christmas Day was meant to be like 26 and sunny. So yeah, no, vibes are still high. Don't worry.
I don't know if it's an English thing, but I like it in Australia where it's a bit overcast on. I got because you don't want to be underwhelmed, but I actually like it because it's a drinking day. Then you don't feel so bad being in the sun. Um, so I actually like an overcast day. Maybe that's a Brit in me. Adam, can we get a mic check from you, please?
Check one, check one.
Yeah. Hey, hey. How are you?
Yeah, good, good. Again, a little late here, so I'm going to just have a quick drink of water, but I'll be here.
Yeah. Do what you got to do. Thanks everyone for being here early. We have a stack of announcements today. So yeah, good to see you all. So yeah, love seeing everyone's avatars and people pop in. What is there any news from Tennis HQ, Rid, specifically about the tennis that you know about this week? Do you want to give a rundown
Ooh.
of what came up with wildcards?
So I'll just check that I'm off mute. Yes, I am off mute. Wild cards. Venus Williams was given a wild card earlier this week or late last week. So Venus has obviously had some injuries over the last couple of years. She's also a very good friend of the AO. She's scored one. We've also had 6 Aussies that have been handed wild cards. I'm just trying to find the email update with that. There's a lot of emails going around at this time of year, so
We'll let you do that.
see how my archiving's going.
Whilst we let you get an update on that, welcome everyone. You are joining. I believe it's going to be the last alpha session from us for the year. We have been doing these pretty regularly, a couple a week for the last few weeks. Just to give you an update on where we're at with the project and what's coming out. Obviously, our tournament starts on Monday, the 16th of January. So there's a lot to come in the next few weeks. We're head down on a number of different initiatives, which we can outline at the end of this. But primarily, we're going to give you an update on Mint first, the AO23 Mint, what we can share with you there, and then we're going to do our alpha drop of what's coming next. So hang in there. By all means, obviously, use the chat. We'd love to hear from you. Deploy your emojis. Otherwise, we're just talking into the ether. So yeah, we love to hear from you. I hope Running South jumps in at some point and gives us a weather update. Also, I'd like to confer on if that's true, Rid. That is currently the weather forecast in Melbourne. So yeah, we might jump into it if Back and Ben and Rodney can confirm their recording. that would be great. We'll get into it. So I might ask the questions around Mint of you two, if that's okay. So in terms of the AO23 Mint, Adam, for you, can you describe what is happening with the Mint, how many people are on court, and ultimately what the new supply is?
Yeah, so it all looks well and good for the 9th of January. And that'll be Australian Eastern Standard Time. So for those in the US, it's the 8th, which lands on the Sunday, and Europe as well. We're looking at a supply of 2,000, well, it's a locked in, 2,454. And that will be, the majority of it will be allocated to the 15 different collaborations alongside the AO ArtBall AO22 holders. So for wildcards by premium. So I think at this point in time, we're just looking at making sure that there's enough time for reveal, and also for mint day to make sure that, similar to like last year, it was quite tight, but that was on the basis of turning this around in some ridiculous timing. But for what we achieved, it's awesome. And I think for this time around, we're ahead in some ways, but we're also building something bigger and larger. So for us, mint day, aiming for the 9th, our supply is 2,454. We have some of the pre-mints out at the moment. So for those that hold an AO22 ball, make sure that you go and check out the official links if you haven't already, and subscribe. We aim for the pre-mint to cover, one per wallet, but at the same time, similar to how we use the Web3 tech. For us, we look at the raffle system of those that are in the waitlist versus those that have a wildcard access to be fairly drawn. And, that's really important to us. So the public sale and what's left over post those that have had the wildcard allow list, and then those that are on the wait list for that allow list have had their time, will be one per wallet to ensure that we get fair distribution. I'm super excited about this year, being that, we're obviously going out to a lot of different other communities as well. Medikey are such a strong partner, and obviously involved again this year. But to be able to build on that too, with other allocations, and you'll see that throughout the week leading up to the mint day as well. From our perspective, it's great to bring in new communities alongside rewarding our current one, to have an opportunity to have an AO23 ball. Because without saying, I think it's in almost all our announcements, anyone who owns an AO22 has an automatic re-roll, so a new court on the court alongside the other 2,454 AO23 balls. So,
can you just explain how that? Can you just deep dive into explain how that works? So just to recap, there'll be 9,230 on the court for AO23. The court will be divided into those amounts of squares. I believe it's sat at something like 17.9 centimeters right now. And so the 6776 that are in the 22 collection will get a court re-roll. So they get a position on the court. And Adam, how are those positions distributed? All 6776 and the 2454 that are new.
So that's through Chainlink and their VRF system. So basically, every token ID goes into a pool and then randomly gets allocated according to the court. So, I think there's lots definitely to discuss. I'm not holding particularly back, but I do want to get involved in more of a conversation about a few things, because I don't know if I'm stepping on other people's toes. I think part of the agenda today will be talking through how we've grown and evolved from what initially we've done in AO22, and what is aimed for AO23 as well in terms of utility benefits, and obviously exploring different ways that we're bringing in new communities as well. So for the sake of the question. 9th of Jan, supplies 2,454. There will be a day for wildcard, day for a day post that, which will be the 10th, I'd imagine, for the wait list for any excess to be fulfilled. And then any excess supply from there will go on public sale, which will be limited to one per wallet. So, yeah, excited to get this one out and get back into the tournament.
And this is for both of you. I think for those that haven't heard this on various channels, do you want to talk about the strategy there? So we've taken the position to release a limited mint of 2454. There are many ways that this could be spun in terms of what we could have done, but instead of choosing to obviously dilute the supply year on year with a similar amount of mint, we've chosen to mint a limited edition, a limited number of art balls every year, but then give every everyone that owns an art ball, the ability to be on the court in perpetuity. So if you mint for the first time in AO23, you will be on the court for AO23, and you'll be on the court for every future year. So you'll be on the court, you'll get a re-roll onto the court on 24, 24s will get a re-roll onto 25, and etc. So, Rid, Adam, do you want to explain why we chose this strategy?
Absolutely, I can jump in here. So I think when we were originally designing the project, which, as I think a lot of you know, came together incredibly quickly late last year and early into this year, just prior to the AO kicking off in early January, we were designing, I guess, with the guise of it being sort of a 1-year design. We hadn't really thought beyond or too far beyond the initial AO. And then once we started chatting to a few holders that had come into the project and saw the success of the project and the gamification and the engagement that the project had with tennis and bringing new people into tennis, it was important that we continued with this AO ArtBall project going forward. And so we held a number of surveys, as some of you would know, and a number of focus groups within sort of the holder realm, and spoke to a lot of people that we know that own art balls, and basically came up with the conclusion that everyone wants to go around again, essentially. Nobody wanted their AO22 ball to just kind of die into the ether. They want that to remain live going forward. But the only way to do that is to continue to essentially build a business or a commercial business out of the product to allow us to continue to reward the original holders, to continue to reward new holders going forward, but also to keep everyone in the game and then make it as fair as possible. So we take into account things like how many people there are on the court right now, how many legendary balls there are, how many artist balls there are, how many generative balls there are, what the different artworks look like, the size of the plots on the court, how many matches we're following, the positioning of people on the court. And so through so many conversations earlier in the year, we've essentially come to the decision late, sort of mid to late this year, and started designing for what 23 would be. So just to sort of summarize what Adam had just gone through for those who have just jumped on the call, there's currently 6,776 balls, of which there's 20 legendary balls and 118 artist balls. The remainder are generative. All of those 6,776 balls will be re-rolled for 23. So if you're a 22 ball holder, you'll automatically be on the court for 23. But in order to do that, we need to, I guess, innovate and bring new balls into the community as well. So there'll be 2,454 new balls that'll be added in January. We're looking at a mint date of Jan 9th in Australia, so Jan 8th in the US, if that's where you are. And included in that 2,454 will be a collaborator collection. So there's 115 collaborator balls that are included in there. We made the announcement about the collaborators on Tuesday this week, so we can run through a few of the collaborators again, but there's some big names in there from all the way from sort of Nouns DAO, Crypto Chicks, Pro Tennis Fam. There's some amazing projects and products in there. We've got Penfolds and Marriott from the Australian Open Partnership family coming along there as well. So they will be minted in 2 weeks from now, essentially 2.5 weeks. So yeah, a bit of information coming about that. But yeah, I think that in summary is essentially how we got to where we're at now, and want to keep rewarding the holders that have been here since the start, but also the holders that keep coming and are buying into the project now. And we do put a very commercial mind over the way that we run this project. And I guess what we see in so many other projects, and I'm sure that everyone's unfortunately fallen foul to this in the past, is that a project can generate revenues at mint pretty quickly, but it's also pretty easy to spend all those revenues. And we want to make sure that we continue to build the project going forward. And if we spend all that revenue that was generated without generating any more, essentially the project will not remain any further. So we need to be smart about the way that we continue to build this going forward.
Thanks, Rid.
I think.
Yeah, go for it.
Sorry, I think, what's interesting and, what's most exciting about working through with this project and the teams that are involved is, I know we've spoken about how we've scaled it and how it sort of is of value to the OGs, and, how we will continue to build this and make it future proof. But it truly does make it and give it the best chance to be able to continue doing what we want to do in 2024 and 2025 and beyond in many ways. I think part of it is that, we initially had gone in and made a 3-year roadmap of what it could be explored. And naturally, we've evolved and made it tenfold better in terms of the value prop back and what the utility can look like, the rewards that can be there, how the technology can be used, and the content that can be connected. So, I can look back and I can hand on heart say that from what it is and how we now have it, where initially we were just going to do another mint of 6,776 and, re-roll nothing, but re-roll the coordinates on the court pending new tokens. It just excites me to think about how we can then start to look at provenance of different holders, ArtBalls that have been from different years. If you collect multiple years, where the hotspots can be in the future, how and what we do with those type of tiles. It's endless. And I wish we had more time in many cases to continue building this out, but that's probably the exciting thing post 2023 and the tournament too. So, I think, kudos to Tennis Australia. We've got some exciting news. Obviously, we're going to debut today, which is another one of many things to still come through. And, I think kudos obviously to Run It Wild and Pella and all the rest of our partners that have been working so closely to make this all happen. I'm excited for everyone to see what's being worked on, and I'm excited for the tournament to happen and for all of it to come to fruition personally. But on behalf of the Run It Wild team, I think there's just so much that we can continue to build on by setting great case studies, great benchmarks, great precedent in all the things that we're testing and trialing, because it is all new, especially to a business like Tennis Australia.
Yeah, thank you. Super helpful. So for anyone that's just joining, we're just recapping the AO23 mint. It's minting on the 9th, local time, 8th, Europe and Northern Hemisphere. We've got mint supply of 2454. There will be 9230 in the on the court, which will be all 22 ArtBall holders getting a reroll, and 2454 minting. The 2454 minting includes a new category, a new series, which is a collaborator series, which comes with collaborator benefits. It's also going to be wrapped with artwork inspired by the project or the creator of that project or creators of that project itself. So you'll see some of the collaborators, for example, nouns, etc., that are going to have a nouns-inspired ball on the court, which will come with benefits as well. I think they're just summarising what Adam and Ridley are saying. The intention was to have a lower number of supply come out every year, make sure that every holder gets a reroll on the court in perpetuity every year. So if you're on the court in AO23, you're on the court in AO24, etc., and that goes on. But also an important insight to know is that we want to build more into the ball itself. We don't want to waste resources and time on indistinguishable differences to the ball and to the collection. We want to make sure that the ball itself is inbuilt with a lot of different factors. We've just mentioned collaborator benefits there, but I don't know if you want to lean into some of the technical aspects of the match point experience that we're building into the ball itself. So last year you were able to see a 2D version of the match point if you win one, and that match point obviously comes with other benefits as well. But the 3D experience of what we're doing this year to the match point is incredible. We've started to see some of work in progress come out of that, but you will be able to see a 360-degree view of the match point. So if you think about the ball arc of a match point, you'll be able to cycle around that match point, and you'll also be able to see side by side for the first time we're showing match play. So on a side by side with how that match point is played out, you'll be able to see your favourite players side by side in terms of replays. So if that, so you can look at match points in that way. Adam, did you have anything to add about the tech that's being built into the match point experience?
Yeah, I think we're really leaning in on token gated experiences, and I think if anyone's watched what's the World Cup and the additional technology that's around supporting broadcast streams and the likes, we're going to test something this year called the Super Site, which we're excited about. And there'll be a lot more in terms of the interactivity of the match point site that you may have been familiar with from last tournament, which was in 2D form. This is in 3D now, and there's lots of different things that we'll be able to showcase coming up to the tournament. But what we've spent so much time thinking about is like the everyday fan, and what can we amplify in terms of an experience no matter where you are in the world, and and what we're looking at and exploring ways to be able to have that exclusive access to do those things. So there's lots of tech, lots of experiences that we're testing, and I think at this point in time, we can't help but feel like we can look way past this tournament with what that may look like, but at the same time, excited to showcase all those benefits that you have alongside even other partnerships and things that we've got planned to, which comes with education, other things with Web3 and crypto. So there's lots in it. I'm just thinking it's hard to explain without the content, and we're still working on that content to show. So, but yeah, it's been a focus of ours to make sure that we've got these IRL experiences with Tennis Australia, and Ridley's just been able to really spearhead and make happen, and that's no easy feat. And then the other side of it is the digital aspect and how we can continue to evolve that experience online. Excited to show everyone early next year.
So great. Just to recap for anyone that's joining, the mint information is we're minting on the 9th. We've got a 2454 supply. Get yourself on an allow list, wildcard list. They're in our official links. We'll also share this out as an announcement. In the meantime, do what you need to do in your calendars to make sure those mint days are locked down. You've obviously got the weekend for anyone that's in Europe and the Northern Hemisphere and the US. And for Sydney folk, you'll have to get some time off in the morning. We're thinking it's going to be the morning of the 9th. Make sure that's in. maybe because I put some early leave requests in. I didn't get a day extension of leave there. So we might move into the next set, game 2, set 1 of the portion of this alpha drop. So you might have seen on our socials, and we can see that some of you in this stage have claimed already. But so for AO20, for every AO22 ArtBall, you got 2 ground passes to the second week, finals week, the thrilling finals week of the AO23. That was a purposeful move. After we did surveys last year and spoke to a number of holders, some of them are in this room today. We got a view on, do you want more benefits for all holders, or are you at the other end of the spectrum in terms of some more exclusive events, benefits, IRL experiences for a few of the holders? We got a good sense of that, that you prefer for all holders. But Ridley, I don't know if you want to lean into the next progression of how that developed, and then we can get into what the alpha drop is today.
Yeah, I think that's another good point to touch on there as well, Sarah, is that sort of conversational point that we've had with so many holders over the period, sort of establishing what people want out of an AO ArtBall and owning an AO ArtBall, and what that means to them as far as the benefits that they get from being part of that membership. And I guess through the last 12 months, that has been a bit of a trial and error, or however you want to describe it, with so many different iterations of little competitions that we've been running and giveaways. And I think everyone sort of understands that if we're giving away tickets for, let's say, the Arsenal collaboration that we did, we're probably not going to get tickets for everyone. So we're going to run a little lottery for 5 or 10 people that might win there. But what we also wanted to do was make sure that we were getting opportunities to give something back to everyone. And so that was where the ground passes came about. But then there's another factor that comes into play there, and obviously that is the international nature of Web3 and the project, and ensuring that we're giving benefit as globally as possible for as many people as possible, but continually pushing the boundaries on what we can do with the technology, like Adam described a few moments ago, where we're adding more benefit to your experience, I think, in the AO. Whether you're in the US or you're in Australia or you're in Singapore, we know that we've got a multitude of holders all over the world. Obviously, the AO is very much a Melbourne event. We've also announced through the week that the United Cup tickets are available. So that's Sydney, Brisbane and Perth. Obviously there we're still talking to an Australian audience, but we do know that the sort of greatest majority of holders are based in Australia as well. So Sarah, I think I might let you talk to Match Point. How do you feel about that?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I don't mind being put on the spot.
No, I just think you've done so much work to bring this to life over the last 24, 48 hours that I think it's
also you don't know internally I carry the weight of the community as being CMO, so I carry the suggestions, the demands, the requests of you guys, and also I'm a huge tennis fan, so just so you know, internally my campaign for this benefit has started immediately after the last Australian Open, so and the same with Adam to a certain degree, so we are sort of heavily invested in what we're about to announce as well. So the announcement is, and forgive us because it's the first time we're doing this, so it's not going to be extremely cogent, but we'll give it a nudge. So the benefit is any AO ArtBall that scores a match point on the AO23 court will receive a claim of 2 tickets to the equivalent match in AO24. So the examples that we'll use there is if you score a match point on the men's or women's final, you will get 2 tickets to the men's or women's final in AO24, respectively. So that also plays out for days. So one of the things we were hearing about is that your tennis heads from the ground passes, it was second week, want to get more tennis in the first week. So that also plays out. So score a match point in a round 1 match at the Rod Laver on day 1, you will get those equivalent tickets in the Rod Laver on day 1 of AO24. That also plays out for ground passes too, which is awesome. So you get even more match viewing. So score a match point round 1 on the Rod Laver, and you'll get 2 tickets on the Rod Laver. Let me read that again. Score a match point for a round 1 match on court 16, a day 1 of the tournament, and you get 2 ground passes for day 1. So essentially, we're calling this match point equivalence for AO24. So recapping, every match point winner, of which there will be 400. There might be more or less than that, depending on match schedules that don't get decided until very, very close to the tournament. So we can't exactly, announce that exact number today, but if it's based on all of the years that have been playing, it's around 400. 400 match points across 9,230 courts. For those that do math, that's a 4% chance in winning one of these opportunities. So we're announcing a mix of stadium reserved seating, a mix of ground passes for all the days here. So I guess, Ridley, I don't know if you want to jump into the mechanics of this, but this is nothing to be quaffed at. This has taken a lot of stakeholders, a lot of stakeholder conversation to get to this point on giving benefits to a significant number of holders that win match points. You'll see from last year, we'll release the stats in a bit in terms of how many match point winners won 2 for their enviable court position. And there was, I think, one that won 3 points. So the opportunity,
I think
can't remember.
13 or 15 that won 2 from memory, and one that won 3. So, I think like you said, this has been a bit of a beast to try and get across the line. Obviously, there's a whole lot of challenges and implications that come along with this, but we don't need to talk about that today. We want to talk about the positivity of the fact that if you own a match point winning ball from AO23, that you'll score 2 equivalent tickets to that same match for AO24. And that can be owning the ball when it happens, that can be owning the ball because you've purchased it on the secondary market, or owning the ball because you've been gifted it. So anyone, when the claim window opens for those tickets later in 2023, when tickets go on sale for 2024, whoever is holding those winning balls at the time will have the right to claim those tickets. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what that does to the conversation in Discord, the marketplace, and people trying to hunt down match winning balls or picking and choosing what they might want as a match winning ball. That will obviously include Rod Laver Arena, and we're talking about everything here. We're talking finals, semi-finals, quarterfinals, round of 32. Everything is played in Rod Laver and Margaret Court Arena. And then you've got, of those, when you sort of talk about bulk matches in the first week, a lot of those will be on outside courts, of which they will be the equivalent of a ground pass. So ground passes for essentially the first sort of 10 days before all the matches go into Rod Laver Arena in those last few days. But obviously the ground passes, the 7-day ground passes, will most likely be available as well. So there's a lot that goes into designing a project like this, or a component of a project like this. There's obviously the lottery components of it, and we need to ensure that we've got the appropriate licenses and whatnot to run something like this in Australia. So yeah, it's exciting. I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens, and I think it sort of elevates that match-winning experience again from AO22 into AO23, and I think it shows sort of how we're continuing to progress the project going forward, and the use of the technology and elevating the match-winning experience.
Yeah, thanks, Rich.
Yeah,
do you have anything to add?
When, I think when we look back, we always, I spoke about it before, where, our foresight of what we can build and what we can evolve this to, and how ArtBall was once initially just this program to engage, like-minded tennis fans into a new way of Web3, and now a membership, and how we've scaled the project and what it looks like. It was always a glaring part to us about, all of us internally, about how we reward match-winning points, and it's a true anchor in terms of how we want to continue to position this alongside every holder. So, I think both Sarah and Ridley might be talking it down a little bit in terms of how the challenges that come along with trying to set these new precedents, especially just in general around, Web3. But it's just super exciting to be able to put this first stamp on rewarding match-winning points in the capacity like this, when it was very glaringly obvious to us about how it needed to happen, but the process that it goes through to be able to make it happen, it's just another test, another great case study, another great precedent to then continue to evolve it further even into the future, which, I'm just excited we've been able to make it all happen for 23.
Yeah, awesome. So anyone that's just joining, and I've seen a few heads pop in, we've just announced that any ArtBall that scores a match point on the AO23 court will get 2 match equivalent tickets to the match on the AO24. So that means, in examples, so if you score a match point to the men's or women's final, you will get 2 tickets to the men's and women's final in the Rod Laver. If you score a match point on a round 1 match in the Rod Laver, you will get 2 tickets on day 1 in the Rod Laver. This also works if you're on court 16 as well. On day 1, you will get 2 ground passes to day 1. The benefit is we're releasing stadium seating for match points. There's approximately around 400 match points available, as is the match number of matches that are played in AO24 and AO23. Sorry, we'll have an update on that closer to the tournament when the schedule gets laid out. We've just got a comment from Wayne. So remembered how excited I was leading up to the AO and getting my ArtBall, loving what the team are doing, and that my ball will continue on the plot in the future. So great that I can relive the excitement alongside the tournament. Oh, so thanks for taking the time to write that, Wayne. Really appreciate it. That sort of energy in a ping really translates to us. So yeah, keep them going. So huge benefit. We were trialing and experimenting options, and this is a trial of giving what seemingly 400 benefits, to a group, and those benefits being at a higher price point essentially than other benefits we have in the future, the other benefits we've had in the past. It's an anchor point. It's an anchor point for the 23 mint price, right? And let's not sort of dance around that. It is an anchor point. Having said that, it's just one of the benefits of AO23. So there's something for everyone in ArtBall, right? If you're a tennis head and you love watching live tennis, we have tickets. If you love the 360 commentary, seemingly I have arguments with my family about whether it's best to watch something live or on the screen, because you can argue that. the access that the cameras get at the court are better. So there's something in there. If you're one of those, if you're international, you will get more access to an exclusive stream of cameras, and there's a lot of wizardry built in to that super site experience. So you'll be able to catch up blow by blow or match by match on what's just gone down at the AO. There is something, if you are a Web3 degen, we have 15 odd collaborators joining, so there'll be cross-pollination of benefits across different projects. And then there's way more to come. That's just a smattering of what's happening for the AO23 ArtBall holder. We, as a project, we have an integrity committee. It's really important to us to lead you on the right path and you walk into things with your eyes open. Insofar as we are a not-for-profit, we do have stakeholders to manage on these things. So we did want to be open and transparent about which geographies can claim. So Ridley, question to you: which geographies can claim this reward at this moment?
At this moment, it'll be based around Australia only, and that excludes South Australia. As you said, there's a lot of integrity and legal that goes behind creating an incentive like this. It is considered a lottery or a giveaway in Australia, so we do need to abide by the laws and rules and regulations of that and seek the appropriate licenses to go forward with that. So yeah, at this stage, and we are researching globally what we can do for all different regions, knowing that we do have so many global holders. We will be limiting the claim to Australian citizens, excluding South Australia, which we should be able to change, we're hoping. But yeah, we will also continue to explore what's possible in the worldwide realm as well.
Yeah, so recapping,
residents.
It's residents, not citizens, where you're domiciled, essentially. So currently, the match point equivalent benefit is open to be claimed by Australian residents except South Australia, which we're hoping to sway. We are looking and working hard at broadening this benefit out to international holders. We are daily having conversations about this. And Adam, what's the intention of this insofar as it being an international benefit in your mind?
Yeah, like it's pretty obvious on where we're going and what we're aiming to do. So I think at this point in time, this is 6 months in the works at this point, from getting approval on match winning points to be the equivalent match winning tickets, and then going through the T&Cs and making sure legal and everything else is up to scratch with with multiple teams outside of even Tennis Australia. But, I think from what we're looking at in most cases of what we're delivering for this year and how we're looking at building these things out for future years, it's all about scalability and it's all about how we can make this global. So, the part that excites me again is the fact that anyone that owns an AO22 ball or a 23 gets re-rolled for 24 and beyond. And yeah, if the project has evolved this much in a matter of like 8 to 10 months, the writing's on the wall on what we're going to be probably doing in 24 without having to say too much and without really sending me a Slack message to tell me to shut up in a minute. But I think, at this point in time, it's how do we continue to build these case studies, show these, set these new precedents, get new feedback as well from community alongside everything else to continue to evolve the project moving forward.
Cool. This is a process. This is a point in time. You're getting this information. We have decided to share this with you rather than share it at the moment that it's perfected in terms of this benefit. So bear with us. We are working hard to get this extended out to international holders. We are international holders ourselves. We are based internationally. We understand, how that feels. So, rest assured, we're on your side and we are working on this. So, essentially, we've just announced that every match point that is won on the AO23 court will get equivalent seats, stadium seats, and ground passes to those equivalent matches and those equivalent courts on those days. How that'll be played through in terms of what the match point experience, you'll see new properties kick into OpenSea and the NFT metadata update. So you'll be able to see which day and which court your match point was won on, or other match points. If you want to have a look at what other match points are doing. I don't know about you guys, but last year, guys and gals, my court plot was basically dancing around a number about 3 match points, and every day I glued into the match point experience for mine to change colour. It'll be a slightly different experience this year. It'll be 3D. You'll be able to spin around the court and see what's happening on the court. So yeah, we're really excited to show you that level of experience, which will hopefully show you over the Christmas break, if we can release some of that lens. But essentially, that's the huge alpha drop. You're getting equivalent tickets for every match point that's won. That's one of the many benefits for AO23. And so I think there's a question from Aussie London. Aussie London. I just want to shout out to Aussie London. Your banter on the chat has been exceptional. I've loved it. Obviously, as an Aussie London myself, biasly. So the question is mint price. What is the mint of AO23? What's it looking at the moment? Adam, I'll let you take that one.
We have a 0.23 to something that we're looking at this moment in time. So it will come closer to the date, I'd say, where we confirm exactly that as well. We've got to take into consideration the price of Ethereum and a few parts like that, seeing that the transaction comes back in fiat. So there's a few parts to this, and obviously with the Tennis Foundation, a few parts. We just need to continue to explore it, but at this point in time, again, awesome value, considering there's only 2,454 of them, and the fact that anyone from AO22 gets an automatic re-roll into future projects with the AO. So not much more I can talk about on that side until we get closer to the date, but I think that's our target.
And that'll be a fixed price. When you're giving a range, the range is due to what the fixed price will be. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yes.
And the mint location will be on our site, AO.ArtBall.io. We will give you an update nearer the time on the UX. Available. We will have compatible wallets as well. Again, we'll give you an update on that closer to the time. But for anyone that joined our mint last year, it's going to happen a week before the tournament. Same sort of cadence and sequencing. The allow list, the wildcards will mint first with their designated allocation. And if there's any left over, that will go to the wait lists. And if there's any left over from the 2454 allocation, that will go to public sale. Given that's a significantly lower number than what minted last year, we expect to mint out. So we're recommending, if you aren't already, get yourself on an allow list, wildcard list. There is a members only list. It's on official links. Head over there. There is a number of collaborator allow lists wildcards out as well in terms of those raffles. And then anyone that owns an artist ball or a legend art ball from AO22, or that owns 10 or more art balls, will get an automatic allow list. We're also looking at automatic allow lists for AO22 holders as well. We're on that. We're just looking at numbers at the moment. So, we know that has been a request from our AO22 holders that have been patiently in this project from day one. We love that you have been here, and we love that you're always first. We're looking into that as well. Ridley, was there anything else that you or Adam that you wanted to close out on? We are bouncing off to another live straight after this. So we'll do our best to get this news out on announcements and Twitter as fast as we can. But yeah, if you've got any questions, we will hang on for a couple of minutes and answer anything in the chat. So if you've got any questions about the AO23 mint or the new benefit that we have announced, which is every ArtBall that scores a match point on the AO23 court will get 2 tickets, the equivalent match at the AO24. Which means that, say, if you score a match point on a finals match, men's or women's, you will get the 2 stadium seats in Rod Laver for that equivalent match, and so on. If you've got any questions, we'll hang on for a couple of minutes. Otherwise, we'll do we'll endeavour to be on ArtBall, AO ArtBall, and AO Metaverse chats over the next little while. Like I say, we're running into a sequencing of lives. I think the other shout out is we're doing a live with NFT teams, we get that right, at 10 o'clock. So that's in 2 hours. So if you are in that Venn diagram of being a NF Teams fan and an ArtBall holder, a bit similar to the mix of VSP yesterday, we're doing a space on that in a couple of hours. So we'll hang on for another minute or so. If you've got any questions, feel free to throw us out some emojis. Feel free to ask us some questions on Discord. If you've got any follow-up on what you've heard today, we'll push out a recording of this as soon as we can as well. So any closing remarks, Rid, Adam, before we jet?
No, all good from me.
Cool.
All good on my side.
Yeah, sweet. JMD, drop something in there. Oh no. Oh, damn it. Yep, it's coming. We'll wait for you. We'll wait for your comment. Thanks for also being a dedicated member on our Discord. I can see a few people in here. Hoddle Waddle. We've done a few focus groups with you. Love that. BTC Duck. Don't know what to say. Consistently here and always. Try as you might. Sherry, so great to see you guys bowl into this. We love seeing you, and obviously Street Fury, Meta Key Crew, Meta Key holder, Ben on Discord, 333 NFT. Love seeing you consistently being first to the news, and lovely members of our community. At the end of the day, that's who we're here for, and that who propels us forward. So continue nudging us, continue challenging us, and letting us know what you think. We love it. We might just close it there if we haven't got any comments. We will be online. We are doing probably more during the Christmas break, the most of you lot. So you'll see us in and around Discord. So if you've got some downtime during your holiday break, feel free to hit us up. There'll be a significant number of announcements going in to the new year to do with tennis specifically and our project. We'll try and give you behind the curtains look on some of the future alpha that'll be coming, that we baked into our match point experience as well. So stay tuned and have really safe holidays, everyone. I hope you're at the end of the year where you get a good break and are feeling refreshed and retank, because it's going to be a ripper going into the new year, and we want to see you all pumped, jacked, and hyped. All right, thanks everyone. Happy holidays, safe holidays. See you soon.
Thanks, Sarah. See you later.